If I woke up in 2026 with $0 in my bank account, I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't blame the economy. I would smile, because starting with nothing is not the disadvantage people think it is. Most people are scared of being broke, but the real danger is being comfortable and clueless. That's what keeps people stuck for decades. I'm saying this as someone who has seen both sides. I've seen money. I've lost money. I've rebuilt from places that felt impossible. Here's the truth most people never hear. Starting with zero does not ruin your future. Starting without a plan does. Right now, you might feel behind, maybe embarrassed, maybe tired of starting over, and you're wondering if it's even possible anymore. It is, but not the way social media tells you. This is not about quick wins. Not about crypto luck. Not about copying rich people's lifestyles. This is about doing the boring things first, the uncomfortable things, the things that actually work. But that's not the real story. The real story is this. When you have nothing, you have an advantage most people never get: freedom. No lifestyle to protect, no image to maintain, no expensive habits holding you hostage. People earning good money are often trapped. They can't take risks. They can't change direction. They are terrified of falling even a little. You don't have that problem. You're already at the bottom, and that makes you dangerous. Here's what nobody tells you. Mistakes are cheap when you're broke. If you fail this year, you lose time and effort, not millions, not decades of reputation. That means you can experiment, you can try, you can learn faster than anyone else. Most people miss this part. They think being broke means they should play it safe. It's the opposite. This is the one time in your life where learning aggressively makes sense, but only if you stop doing one thing first. Because if money is leaking out of your life faster than it comes in, nothing else matters. You can earn more. You can learn skills. You can dream big. But if the bleeding doesn't stop, you'll stay exactly where you are. And that's the first move I would make before income, before investing, before anything else. I would stop the bleeding immediately. And most people won't like how that feels, because it means facing the truth about habits, about comfort, about excuses. And that's where things start to get uncomfortable. If you're starting with nothing, discomfort is not your enemy. Avoiding it is. Most people delay the hard decisions. They say, I'll fix it next month. Next month becomes next year. Then a decade disappears. So I wouldn't wait. I'd sit down immediately and face every place money leaves my life, every payment, every habit, every quiet drain you've learned to ignore. Here's what nobody tells you. Small leaks sink big ships. Subscriptions feel harmless. Eating out feels normal. Car payments feel necessary. But together, they quietly steal your future. If I'm broke, I don't act rich. That's the rule. No payments that impress nobody. No comforts I haven't earned. I'd cut deeper than feels reasonable. Not forever, just for 1 year. 1 year of discipline can fix 10 years of damage. Most people won't do this. They say they deserve enjoyment, but enjoyment paid with debt is just delayed pain. And here's the shift that changes everything. Once the bleeding slows, you notice something. Breathing becomes easier. Decisions become clearer. But that's not the real turning point. The real change happens when you stop trying to invest your way out of poverty. This is where people get confused. They hear about stocks, they hear about passive income, they hear about compounding, and they rush into early. Most people miss this part. You cannot multiply zero. You have to add first. If I'm starting 2026 broke, investing is not my priority. Income is. For a short time, I wouldn't care about passion or purpose or perfect balance. I would care about one thing. How fast can I increase what comes in? I'd sell time first. That's the fastest lever. Whatever skill pays the most right now, that's the one I use. Not forever, just long enough to build momentum. Here's what nobody tells you. Working hard for a short season is not failure. It's strategy. I'd stack work, day job, evenings, weekends. Not because I love hustle, but because I hate being trapped. And the goal wouldn't be luxury. It would be breathing room. That first few thousand saved changes how your brain works. Fear drops, options appear. You stop thinking like someone drowning and start thinking like someone planning. But this stage is fragile. One emergency can wipe it out, and that's why the next move matters more than. People realize once you finally have a little money saved, your instincts will betray you. You'll want to do something exciting with it. You'll want to feel progress. That's where most people mess it up. They invest too early. Life hits. They panic. They sell at the worst time, and they're back to zero again. I've watched this cycle ruin people for decades. Here's what nobody tells you. The most powerful thing money can buy is time. So before I invest a single dollar, I would build a wall, a boring one, an unexciting one. Cash sitting there, doing almost nothing. Not because it grows fast, but because it protects everything else. This is the stage where desperation starts to fade. And when desperation fades, mistakes shrink. Most people underestimate how expensive panic is. Bad decisions feel logical when you're scared. With a solid emergency buffer, you think clearly, you negotiate better. You wait for better opportunities. But that's not the real shift. The real shift happens when you stop seeing money as survival and start seeing it as a tool. This is where investing actually begins, not in stocks, not in crypto, in yourself. Most people miss this part. Your income is your greatest asset, and it's the one asset you can control the most. If I could spend money to increase what I earn per hour, I would do that before anything else. Skills, tools, certifications. Not because they sound impressive, but because the math makes sense. Spend a little to earn more every hour for years. That's real compounding. I'd also buy independence. The ability to earn without permission, because relying on one paycheck is not security, it's exposure. At this point, something interesting happens. You stop feeling behind, not rich, not relaxed, just stable enough to think ahead, and that's dangerous in a good way, because now you're ready for the move that separates people who recover from people who actually build wealth. And most people never make it this far. This is where the game changes. Up to now, everything was defense, survival, stability. Now comes offense, with a base under you, income rising, and fear under control. You can finally build something that works without you showing up every hour. This is where patience starts paying you back, not flashy income, not overnight success. Small streams, quiet streams. Money that shows up whether you're tired or not. Most people miss this part. They wait for a big moment, a big break, a perfect opportunity. But wealth is built from boring consistency. A little invested regularly, a little reinvested again. Then time does the heavy lifting. This is also where discipline gets tested, because when progress starts showing, temptation shows up to new lifestyle, new spending, new excuses. Here's what nobody tells you. Protecting progress is harder than starting. One careless season can undo a whole year of work. So I would hold the line, especially when it feels unfair, especially when others don't understand, because I'm not building for approval. I'm building for freedom. By the end of the year, the numbers don't need to be impressive. They need to be real, cash saved, income streams running, skills upgraded, and most important, proof that I can execute a plan. That's when the identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to get ahead. You see yourself as someone who builds. And once that shift happens, you don't go back. The next year becomes easier. Risks become smarter. Opportunities become visible. This is how starting from zero turns into momentum. Not magic, not luck, just clear steps, taken in the right order, over one full year. Most people will never commit to this. That's why it works. If you do, this won't just change your finances. It will change how you think for the rest of your life. If you commit to this, you won't just fix your money. You'll fix how you think. And once that changes, everything else follows.